Before we head on into the homeschool room tour, I want to just give you a little recap of where we started in this space just a year ago. The third floor attic had been totally neglected, as you would assume. It just wasn't a room that was being used for any particular purpose. There was a ton of work that needed to be done. A huge renovation, from removing wallpaper to plastering walls to refinishing the floors to adding spindles to the stairs. There's no surface in here that hasn't been spackled and mudded and taped. The walls were just in really rough condition, but we were just really enthusiastic to tackle this project because I knew I wanted to have a homeschool space just 100% dedicated to learning. And so we just took on the challenge of learning all of these new skills, and it turned out really beautiful. A lot of things I did up here were a first for me, like refinishing floors, and thankfully I had my dad's help with the stair spindles here that you're seeing. We did lots of DIYs in this space, as far as this little chalkboard that I created to put over this mirror just to make it a little more useful and practical for us. The space started out very simple, very plain, until I kind of got my bearings and knew what we needed, what we didn't need. And since then I have been adding lots of color, lots of fun things in here, and I'll show you kind of where we started with this space and then what I've been adding to create a more fun learning environment, and we're going to set some things up for this year. So one of the things that I like to change out seasonally is this big bulletin board, and I do have a lot of fun with it. It's always a different theme. We make crafts for it. I've even purchased kits off of Amazon that were really cute. And now I am creating a back to school bulletin board. So I'll show you kind of how I set that all up. Maybe it'll give you some ideas, but I think it turned out pretty cute. And I just try to do what I can to make the homeschool room feel like a real schoolroom and just do the little things that other teachers would do in a big schoolroom full of, dozens of kids. So I'll put some music on and you can watch the whole creative process of me creating this back to school bulletin board.
Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise. And now there's something in the air and a sparkly shimmer on our skin, restoring everything within. Dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy on our tiptoes, undercover agents of the other.
In these little bubbles, I asked the kids what they were most excited to learn about this year, and then I just wrote that as a quote in the bubbles, and then we will put those next to their heads on the bulletin board.
Hand in hand, building castles out of sand, reaching for the grand. As willows align, we lose track of time. Head up high, now we climb. Dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy on our tiptoes, undercover.
My kids got their back to school backpacks and they are so excited about them. So they wear them all around the house and they bring them up to the third floor. So I thought I needed to create a rack for them to hang them on every day. And I had this little peg rail that I had thrifted that I was just stashing away. So I thought that I would hang that here as they walk up to the schoolroom so that they have their little backpack hanging section. Now you see me creating a daily school routine. I think this will be helpful for both me and the kids to kind of stay focused on what we should be doing every day. And this will probably change and fluctuate, but at least it's a jumping off point to kind of help us stay on track and help us stay more productive for our school days. My husband's actually going to also be helping this year, and I think he's going to take on science in the mornings. So I'm excited for him to also have a hand in teaching our kids. So that's exciting, and I think the kids are really looking forward to that. Now that I've got some things set up and things are somewhat clean, I'm going to take you on a tour around our homeschool room and show you some of the things that I'm using to teach my first grader and my pre-K, and maybe some ideas, some organization, some, the curriculum, things like that. So let's just walk around, keep it casual, and talk about what we have going on up here. Okay, so here is an overview of the room, right as you come up from the stairs. It went through a big transformation. It was a lot of work, but extremely worth it, extremely rewarding, and we feel so blessed to have this space. Okay, well, let's just start over here on the left side of the room and this little area here. So we have our sponsor kid poster that we made last school year. And that was kind of a fun little project. It helped the kids understand who our sponsor kid is, and then just to learn about different countries and cultures. So there's an idea for you if you sponsor a kid at all. You can make a little project out of it. And then this little desk area here is where we do our copy work. So we'll choose something for them to look at, copy, write down, and it just helps them practice their handwriting. And that desk I thrifted at Goodwill for $7, I think. Most everything in here has been thrifted and found secondhand. A lot of my school supplies I thrift and find secondhand. And then we always need storage. It's easy to accumulate a lot of things when you're homeschooling. So I brought this hutch up here. This used to be in our breakfast room, but it's nice storage right now. And I'll show you what we have in here so far. I'm always trying to work out the best way to store things, and just so I can remember where things are. We have our dot markers, chalk, or paint pens, I should say. So a lot of like painting type things in here. More paints, wiki sticks. So these are more our STEM type learning things, like our counting bears and some string letters. And I think these are wooden letter pieces. Easels. The kids love these smelly markers. Some more STEM type things, the rubber band thing here, and sticks and sorts of extra things. This is a sand writing thing there. I've got some supplies here that I need to make some activities for my little guy. And then down here, I just have some extra crafting supplies, paper, and then folders to store their previous year's work in. Okay, moving on, we have our little printing station here. I got this little cart off of Amazon, I think. I'll try and link that for you. And then we got a new printer, an Epson here. I do love this Canon. It's a laser printer, so you don't have to worry about any smudging. But the ink is very expensive for that. So we got the one that the ink lasts forever and it's not as expensive. And then I'm just working on putting up lots of posters to keep the room colorful and interesting. You saw me put these up. These are new this year for my daughter who's going into first grade. And they also help me to have something to look back on, to remember when I'm teaching her. And then on our beautiful built-in here that's original to the house, we've got a little chalkboard that I created. This used to be a mirror. Well, there is still a mirror under there, and I just made a chalkboard to go over it. And then we put poems and things up there. We have some poetry books. And then in these drawers, we've got a lot going on. Let me see if I can get these open one-handed. They're a little tight. So extra papers, cards, notebooks, things like that in here. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure out the best way to organize things, what we use and don't use. In here I have a lot of my extra supplies, things that I stick things on the wall with, and then a lot of like dry erase things. I might be going through this soon because we don't really use a lot of that. Trays for Play-Doh. This is our snack drawer. And then the bottom drawer is all of our bulletin board supplies. You saw me put the bulletin board up. I change it for all the different seasons. And then over here, this is a little cabinet that I made. It was just a like hanging cabinet. I think I got it for $10 at a flea market. And it had contact paper all over it, and I stripped it and I put legs on it to make it a little cabinet. And so now we use it up here. I've thought about painting it or putting something fun on it before, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. And here we just keep miscellaneous stuff to wash up after we have our snack. And there's my homemade Play-Doh that's amazing. It lasts forever. And if you homeschool, you have to have a laminator. This thing is amazing. I use it all the time. And then up here, we have a cool little storage system. And I keep scissors and markers and pencils and paintbrushes and things like that in there. Whew, I'm out of breath, you guys. I'm 8 months pregnant and just moving around up here gets me out of breath. I've been going all day. I think I'm nesting. I'm just in the mood to organize and clean and do all that stuff. So if it sounds like I'm struggling, that's why. But we've got flashcards. These are really nice to have. This is mostly like early readers from The Good and the Beautiful. I just thrifted this recently. It's a vintage toothbrush holder, and I just stuck our colored pencils in here. So that worked out quite well. It's kind of looks cute up here. Okay. And over in this area is a lot of extra supplies. This is where I keep all my laminating sheets, extra things, worksheets I've created for the kids, things like that. More printer paper. And this little bookshelf thing was something I found at a flea market. Something I found secondhand here, this little wire rack. And that's really cute. I don't even know what all we have in here. I think this is art type stuff. And like preschool workbooks, dot markers, things like that. We have a nice AC unit in here that keeps it cool in the summer. And then over here on this little drop leaf table that I found at Goodwill, I kind of had it set up for summer and spring, and we tried to keep it themed, I guess. So on our little nature walks, all the different things that we found we had on display, and then we had plants up here and just things that go along with the theme of summer and spring. I made this for them. It's just a little STEM activity with some felt, and they can just kind of configure their own flowers out of it, and different books that go with that theme, gardening and plants. And this is another thing I made them, parts of the plant, kind of a little Velcro thing here. I make these all the time and they really like them. So it's gonna be time to switch these out, switch this whole section out here, probably to, something to do with fall. And then we'll have it themed around that. So it's kind of a fun little section there. And then over here, you saw me making their daily school schedule. And this is probably going to change, but just kind of a rough idea of what I think we'll be doing every day, but it's probably not going to. We're not gonna probably adhere to this very strict, and we'll figure out what's gonna work and what's not gonna work, but it'll be nice to have a schedule up. And then if I need to use this whiteboard after a few weeks, I'll just print something out, put it on the wall or something, and then we'll use this whiteboard to do some teaching. But I have it on a artist's easel, and I actually just found this online, so I'll link that also. But I kind of love the idea of using an artist's easel instead of a traditional whiteboard easel. Kind of fits more of my vintage theme that I have going on. And then our adorable little back to school poster, or bulletin board, I mean. These are always fun for me to come up with and create. It's always different, and I really enjoy putting them together. I really like this one. The kids got a kick out of seeing themselves like printed out like that. And then of course we have our numbers and our ABC banner up here. My son's always referring to that. Another thing we really like is this little banner here with the ABCs on it. My son uses that all the time. And then our little chalkboard that I thrifted somewhere, or found it at an antique store, I think, for very inexpensive. We use that a lot. The B's and the D's, little flyers I made for my daughter so she could remember. And then these little bugs on the wall here, it's a fly swatting sight word game. So I just stuck them up on the wall, and then I think I have the fly swatter somewhere hanging up next to it. And then if we ever want to play that game, we can play that. So it's just up and ready to go. Okay, this little baker's rack is probably the hardest working piece in this whole schoolroom. It keeps all of our curriculum, and I love it. I wish we could fit a bigger one up here because they are perfect for in here. But we just have language arts, math, our new science curriculum, history, and then my son's pre-K, and then I have our iPad and laptop down here. So I love this. My kids can just go and grab their curriculum when they know we're about to start on it and put it back. And I love that it's just visually right there. And then up here, I just used a vintage dish drying rack and stuck some extra curriculum in here. And this is our kind of little like circle time corner. This is where we sing and read and do more fun stuff, where we just sit around in a circle and have that time to kind of unwind and stuff. This is where I keep all of our books, and I switch them out seasonally. I just added in all of our favorite fall books and some history that we're gonna learn about, and then some independent reading, but I switch this out quite often. And I found this on Amazon and I painted it. And then I put up some more posters over here. I just wanted to keep it really bright and colorful. And this up here I created, called it the Wow Work section, and this is where we'll hang the kids' artwork and stuff that they do throughout the weeks. We just made these sunflowers not too long ago with their handprints. Those are cute. And then down here, these are their little lap desks. And then every day we do our morning menus, and I switch these out regularly. Oh, it looks like they were doing them. But I create all these pages for them, and I switch them out. And you can actually get things like this on Etsy. They sell morning menus if you don't want to make your own. And then up here, I just have some extra things. We were doing an Armor of God study. So I actually got this off of Etsy, printed it out and did the little Velcros. So we have like the actual Bible verse that we can read over, the little activity, and then a poster too, so they can memorize. A little cute little wooden clock. And over here is just random things I can pull from when we're doing morning time or circle time. I've got the Book of Virtues. I love reading from that. And then down here, this is kind of the area I will send my son to when my daughter's doing her workbooks. And then he can have independent play. And I created all of these little busy boxes for him. And he doesn't usually take the initiative to play with them for too long, but I try to encourage it. They're all different options for him. I don't even know what I have in these drawers. Oh, and our maracas, because sometimes we'll do a little song and dance, and we like to do the maracas. It's always fun, get the kids up and moving and help them with rhythm and things like that. And then we have a sensory bin that I just keep here, and I was switching it out. Like I have pumpkins and stuff in there for fall, but I haven't switched it out lately. A basket with puppets, and they absolutely love these. And these are actually really great for helping to teach your kids to memorize, or just if there's a story that you want to teach them and you want them to really retain it. If you express the story or the Bible verse through the puppet, like they're the ones telling them, I don't know what it is, but the kids just remember it so much better. And it's just funny, and they love playing with them and putting on puppet shows and stuff. So those are cute. I'll try and link those for you too. It's a whole family. I think there's 5 or 6 of them. They're really cute. And then we just have some more posters. Just things we like to go through every day. Days of the week, months of the year, numbers. My dad just got us that 10 Commandments poster. And then this tree is something I thrifted a couple years ago, and it's been working out really nice up here. I actually just had Easter eggs on it with letters and different sight words, and I'm gonna switch that out for fall leaves and kind of do the same thing on them. And down here is our really cute little ABC rug that we sit at for circle time. And we have another antique cabinet over here. I just thrifted this abacus, or I found it at a yard sale recently. I'm not sure if we'll use that, but it is cute. Here's another thing I just thrifted, which is really cool. It's a coinulator, so it adds up how much money you have based on you clicking the different coins and dollars, and I thought that was really cool. And of course we have a globe, and then we do our Pledge of Allegiance every day. So I just put this poster up, but there's actually a really cute little YouTube channel, and it has a little puppet guy, and he goes through the Pledge of Allegiance with you, and the kids love that. I love trying to get them to memorize things. It's so good for them. And then down here is kind of, or in here is kind of where my son gravitates when he has independent playtime. So I try and keep things just really simple, like a lot of blocks. This is like a tinker box that I put together for him. It just has all different things in it, and he can tinker with it and create whatever he wants. He loves these things that I got at Target lately. Or lately, he loves these, I should say, that I got at Target recently. And I created, or actually, I think these came with it, and I just laminated it and put them in cards, cut them out, and put a little ring around it. So, of course, he doesn't tend to use it this way. He creates his own stuff, but he's only 4, so the prompts are there anyway. And then we have a lot of these Unifix cubes. I'm always grabbing those when I find them because you can do so much with them. I have more here. Garage sale finds. These are really cool. The kids like these. The little locks. And just lots of random things to build with. Some puzzles. Like I said, lots of blocks. So this is a nice area that I can just send my son to when I need to focus on helping my daughter with her schoolwork. And back over here, we just have the clock, and I printed out these little, what do you call it? It just help her tell the actual time in I guess it would be a digital form versus an analog. Helps her understand it a little bit better. And then you saw me just hang this. The kids love this thing. The Today Is poster thing here that they can change out every single day. And then I figured if they ever want to bring their backpacks up, they can hang it on that hook too. But I just thrifted that hook. But yeah, let me show you what we use for our curriculum. So we use a lot of The Good and the Beautiful. This was last year's course book for my daughter. And I really liked the language arts a lot. So we stuck with that again for this year, but there's a lot of beautiful illustrations. It's very colorful. There's a lot of storytelling. And then it always kind of goes back to, being a Christian-centered curriculum. So that's where the philosophy of everything comes from, which we obviously adhere to with our beliefs. So I appreciate that. You're not going to find like Bible verses, it doesn't really link every lesson back to a Bible verse or anything like that, but just the philosophy behind things is faith-based. So I really like that. And then here's her upcoming one for her new year. So far, I like their math. I'm not sure if I'm always going to stick with it. It does sometimes get a little too storytelling in depth, and it does jump around. It will introduce a concept and then it'll only kind of go over it a little bit, and then it will go on to something new, and then it'll kind of like ping pong back and forth instead of just focus on one thing, master it, move on to the next. That's not how this curriculum is set up, so just something to think about. But my daughter loves math, and so far she's done amazing at it. So we're sticking with it for now. And then they have these cute little like activity boxes that come with the math, and she really likes these. It's got little things like money, these little cars, the dice that she does different things with. So I do like that part, that it supplements her learning with more hands-on type things to go along with the lessons. And then we just got a science curriculum because I did not really care for the Good and the Beautiful science curriculum. The stories were just way too long, and it's really hard to keep these little guys' attention for that long when I'm reading an 8-10 page long story just to teach them about some weather patterns. So we're gonna try Apologia this year, and I got this one, but I think this might be a little too advanced for them, so I purchased the preschool to kindergarten one, and we should be getting that soon. But my husband's gonna do science with them because science is my least favorite to do, but this is also a faith-based curriculum. So it's creationist philosophy. So that's good for us. But yeah, this is more just about space, astronomy, which my kids might really be interested in. And I don't think this has workbooks with it, which is what I liked. So I just got the kids their own little notebooks in case there's anything they need to do in there. And then they'll do science experiments. So they'll like that. And I'm looking forward to my husband helping with that. And then I also have this God's Big Story curriculum for my daughter, which is, it's nice, but it's a little maybe advanced for her. So I'm not sure how much of that we will do this year. And then here's another new curriculum that I got for history, because again, I just didn't really love the Good and Beautiful history. It was too advanced for my kids, and there's a lot to this. But it's the Knotgrass, I think it's pronounced, whole history curriculum, and it comes with a lot. Like, this is all it comes with, so tons of stuff. And I absolutely love history. We actually did one already. I think this is their American history curriculum, and I loved it. So I'm really looking forward to doing this. So hopefully the kids really like it. So far, it didn't feel too advanced for them. So I'm really excited for history. And I have it for like 1 or 2 days a week right now. So hopefully, maybe we'll do it more than that if the kids are really taking to it, like I hope they will. And then I'll just save the other history curriculum that I got from Good and the Beautiful for maybe future years. And then we've got my son's, let's see, kindergarten prep. He did his preschool, now he's just doing kindergarten prep, and we'll see how he does with that. And if he does well, then maybe I will just get him the kindergarten one this year also. But he's only 4, so I'm trying not to put too much pressure on him and just letting him do more play, STEM, hands-on type things. Thank you so much for touring my homeschool room with me. I know this is not my usual content, but I figured since school is right around the corner, it would be the perfect time to just take you guys around for those who are interested. And like I said, share this video with somebody that you know would be interested in it, that it would be helpful to or just inspiring to. And yeah, we'll be back to kind of usual Old Maple home content, but this is a huge part of what I do and what I'm passionate about, and I'm just really proud of everything that we've done in this space to create just a nurturing place for my kids to learn and to grow, and it's just really fun and exciting, and I'm looking forward to a brand new school year. And yeah, so now we'll have 3 kids to pour into and provide their education. So I feel very blessed to be able to do this. It's funny because it's just homeschooling my kids has always been something that I felt very strong conviction to do, even way before I had kids. And I feel like I have been blessed with certain gifts and abilities, such as just being creative and crafty and kind of artistic, that I can kind of create little things for them that just help to enrich their learning. And that's not to say that you need to be artistic or anything to be able to homeschool, because there are so many resources out there like Etsy, which I get things from all the time when I don't feel like creating something, or Teachers Pay Teachers. I get things off of there. There's tons of different places, and there's tons of YouTube channels too that really are helpful and guiding you through just what they do on a day-to-day basis with homeschooling, different curriculum reviews and things like that. And I've always gone to other people who have more experience with homeschooling to get their ideas and their feedback and stuff. And that's really informed a lot of what I have myself thought to try. And it's just all something you gotta dive into if you're thinking about it, and just trust the process and trust yourself, and it'll just kind of all work itself out. The kinks will eventually work themselves out as you go along, and you'll figure it out. And I'm still figuring out what's gonna work and what's not gonna work, but it is extremely gratifying to know that you can play such a huge part in your children's education, and just knowing actually what they're being exposed to and not being exposed to, and that even just comes down to a philosophical standpoint. Like even when it comes to how some public schools teach math, it might be from a philosophy of math can be based on your feelings. It can be based on, what you think that day, instead of it just being never changing. It's, math is math, 2 + 2 always equals 4 type of a thing. There's some crazy philosophies going on out there. And we approach things with a biblical worldview and from a creationist standpoint, and we just want to be obedient to God and teaching our children in the way that they should go. So that's why I've always felt very strongly convicted to do this, and I pray that God continues to protect our ability to be able to do this for our kids. And so that's something that you could pray for all of us homeschoolers who are doing it for the right reasons, I should say, that God just continues to protect our freedom in order to be able to do this, and that He also gives us grace and gives us the will and the strength in order to carry on, because it's not always easy, for sure, especially when you have very strong-willed children. So keep us homeschoolers in your prayers, if you would. I appreciate you for watching. I appreciate you for being here, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.